name is Matikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I want us to talk about one of the other things that happened last week. I don't know if Ubaloi, I don't know how he thinks, ne? Nah, but last week, one of the other things that he has done, he exposed Rapatu big time. He exposed the so-called statement that was taken by Urapatu, ne? And it's bad. If there were to be a commission, Urapatu will be arrested. If there is going to be a commission, Rapatu is going to get arrested and he will need to explain a lot of things. Do you understand? Now, there is a key legal reality that we cannot ignore. A confession in South Africa, in South African law, is only valid if it meets strict requirements under Criminal Procedure Act, especially voluntariness, proper procedure, and accuracy. Now, if Baloyi managed to expose flaws in what we are calling Rapatu's taken statement or confession, then we are not talking about small mistakes here. We are talking about potential constitutional violations and evidence collapse. Now, let's break down all of that. Firstly, Rapatu is a peace officer. He's a official WhatsApp. He's a justice of peace, and he is involved in this case. Allegedly, he was involved before, but time will tell if they bring that evidence forward. But now, currently, he is the official who took the confession of Undansi, the first confession of Undansi. Now, mark that. Ne? Second thing that happened, let's do a core legal test for a confession. Under South African law, especially section linked to confession under Criminal Procedure Act, valid confession, I already said, voluntarily, meaning no force, no threats, no pressure, made in a sound and sober state, meaning the person was not drunk, or the person was not high, or the person was not feeling pressure from somewhere, properly recorded without influence from police, taken by a competent and independent official, accurately documented, no fabrication, no alteration. So if any of those fail, the confession is inadmissible. Hear me out. Thirdly, Baloyi's cross-examination now, what it exposed, let's look at that. Now, based on what I could see now, or I could understand, the cross-examination likely exposed the structural cracks, not just contradictions. I'm going to count those things. Up to point number 3. Let me say A, I'll give them a number of A. A scripted confession problem that we must deal with. Signs of this, that it was scripted. The statement reads too perfect. Language not matching the accused educational level. Legal phrasing inserted unnaturally. For someone like Danzi, with limited formal education, a polished structural confession becomes very suspicious. Yep. Now, that means this suggests the statement may have been constructed, not narrated by Danzi. He might be right about that. B, handwriting, authorship issues. Undansi was supposed to be the one that wrote the statement. This is a classic collapse because Undansi was supposed to be the one that wrote the statement in Isizu. Now, it brings us to who actually wrote the confession. Did Rapatu write everything himself? Or did Gininda write something and gave to Rapatu? Did the accused dictate how this is done? Or the accused was the one that was dictated? Or whatever the English name is. Are there different handwriting styles across people? Yes, there are. But why don't we have a handwritten stance statement? Where is a handwritten That's a statement. If the accused didn't physically write or confirm each part, credibility drops, Kesan. C. Now, initials and signature irregularities. This is huge. Missing initials on certain pages of Rapatu statements, initials not matching known signature style, pages signed but not properly initialed line by line. This creates a chain of authenticity break, meaning the court cannot confirm that the accused agreed to all contents. Judge Rata has a problem in his hands, guys. D, pro forma HH irregularities. The confession from pro forma HH must be properly completed. Red flags. Questions not fully asked. Answers pre-filled. Tick box compliance instead of real questioning. No proper recording of rights explanation. Freedom from police influence. Interpreter use. In fact, when it comes to the interpreter situation, okay, we'll talk about it another point. If this form is flawed, the confession collapses procedurally. Rata has a problem in his shoulders. B.E. Interpreter controversy. This one is one of the most dangerous flaws, Kesana. Was there an interpreter present? If yes, who? If not, how was language handled? Does the form say there was one when there wasn't? It actually says that. It says there was. And then in another sentence, there is a sentence that it says it was me and the interpreter. And then in another sentence, it said there was no interpreter. So at this point, we are confused. If the accused didn't fully understand the process, the confession becomes constitutionally unsafe. F, timeline contradictions. Baloyi likely probed timelines, ne? Baloyi actually probed confession timelines, ne? Now, when was the confession taken? How long after the arrest? Was the accused exhausted? Was there sleep deprivation? If the timeline shows fatigue or pressure, that supports coercion arguments. Okay? You remember that Tuntanzi slept for 2 hours. Don't forget that. Yes. So sleep deprivation and exhaustion was there. Now, G, police influence or contamination. Critical question, where were investigating officers nearby? Danzi says Kininda was around. Did they brief Rapatu? Apparently they did. Was the accused exposed to police questioning before the confession? Of course, that's exactly what happened. Then if that is the case, that means the confession is no longer independent. It becomes tainted evidence. Rata, you have a problem. H, content versus reality mismatch. This is where things collapse hard. Confession includes details that don't match physical evidence, contradict known timelines, include names without independent proof. This suggests the confession may have been fed or reconstructed. So those are 8 points under Baloyi's cross-examination, what it exposed. That was point number 3. Now let's go to point number 4, the bigger legal danger. If Baloyi exposed these issues successfully, because he did, the court may rule the confession inadmissible or unreliable even if it was already admitted, right? And once that happens, the state loses a major pillar of its case. Point number 5, why this is devastating for the state. Because confessions are supposed to be the strongest form of evidence for this case. But if flawed, they become the most dangerous liability. Why? Because they expose investigative misconduct, they weaken all related evidence. They strengthen the defense narrative of fabrication. And that is exactly what you find. And this was all Baloyi is doing, exposing Rapadu's statement. The real takeaway in this isn't just about mistakes. This is about whether the confession was ever lawful to begin with. If procedure wasn't followed, rights weren't protected, independence was compromised, then this isn't a confession. It's a legal time bomb planted inside the state's own case. Now, the moment the confession starts falling apart is the moment the entire case starts asking one dangerous question: was the evidence discovered or manufactured? So now Baloyi has problems, guys. Baloyi has problems because he was asked by Richard Rudd, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? He said, yes, sir. I'm going to do it. Let's go there. Judge Rudd was like, you sure you want to go there? Baloyi was like, I'm sure. Let's go there. I know what I'm doing. And look where they are now. Look where things are right now. Things are not looking good, because this was never just about the statement. It was about how the statement came into existence. And once that process is exposed, the damage can't be undone, unfortunately, because a flawed confession doesn't strengthen a case. It weakens everything around it. And the real danger for the state is not what was said in the document, because what the court starts to believe about how it was created is what is important. I don't know about you. I feel like Baloyi has been exposed, and the case has been exposed, and Rapadu's so-called statement has been exposed also. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.